All right, I would like to welcome everyone to the August 11th regular meeting of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. We'd like to have a call to order first. Molly, would you like to have a roll call?
Sorry, Miss Allen? Is she? Kind of. Yeah, I got you there. Okay. Miss Conan?
Here.
Mr. Hendon?
Here.
Mrs. Lamacchia?
Here.
Mr. Olson? Okay, we'll get him when he arrives. And Miss Redden?
Here.
Thank you.
All right. The first order of business is public comment, and we have received a few public comments. So I think what I'd like to do first is review the library's policy with respect to public comments. So the Board of Trustees of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County welcomes public input in its deliberations. The board further recognizes both the importance of public comment on issues before the board and the ability of members of the community to express their views on matters of interest to the library. We do have a full public participation policy, which includes a general 3-minute limit on comments. Please remember that public comments are for us to listen to you and your fellow community members. It is unlikely we will make any remarks immediately. We do need a chance to reflect on your comments, research subjects, and of course, consider any relevant legal codes and issues. We will set an alarm and cease reading at 3 minutes per comment. So I'm going to go ahead. Paula, if you will set the timer, I will start with the first public comment, which comes from Jessie Hicks. And here's her comment. Someone representing PLCH told the Enquirer these furloughs were not due to budget cuts, which implied that this was not actually necessary, but rather out of fiscal responsibility. He did not explain how adding more people to the burden of public assistance would help taxpayers, especially the taxpayers who had been furloughed from the library. Staff were given no warning or notice that their access to email would be cut off, preventing staff from being able to contact or coordinate on any of their outstanding projects. This includes staff members who are active leaders on national boards and involved with other organizations, both local and national. This is the type of action that tells employees that they aren't valued and that their work isn't valued. How can you show respect and sensitivity to employees losing their jobs without giving them time to, at a minimum, coordinate their work transitions? Leaving whole departments without qualified staff and advertising that these services will still be provided is misleading, and it's a disservice to the public and to the staff. Without the workers, what is a library other than a warehouse? How do you validate that libraries are an essential service when you've got whole departments? How do you justify reopening facilities while cutting so much more of the staff, which puts more pressure on already overburdened departments? The way in which entire departments were laid off, furloughed was the actual term used, was callous and cruel. PLCH has never been and never will be a top workplace with this kind of behavior. Tough decisions have to be made during this pandemic. However, many well-paid administrative employees were given this responsibility to make these decisions. They had choices and made deliberate and informed decisions to approach these layoffs this way. What they chose to do was to neglect their duty to show respect, consideration, and the dedication to the quality of service the staff and public deserve. Did the layoffs have to happen? Maybe. Did it have to happen to this way and to this extent? Absolutely not. Thank you for your attention. The second comment is from Thomas Moosberger. Paula, if you will please set the timer for this comment. When the library furloughed staff, the library put many staff into the Ohio unemployment insurance system. As the library is a reimbursing employer, it is a library which is repaying the state for any unemployment benefits paid on the library's behalf. The library, rather than paying staff to work 100% of their hours, is paying 50% of that amount for 0% of the results. This is abysmal stewardship of public funds. The furloughed staff were willing volunteers, filling in at branches throughout the spring. I and my coworkers in the information and reference department volunteered at branches such as Hyde Park, Pleasant Ridge, Reading, Oakley, and many others. The floaters volunteered all around the system. Despite this, we were unceremoniously booted out of our locations with only 1 hour's notice. It was insulting. Furloughed staff could be working on many projects to achieve better access to the library's collections. Rather than allowing staff to advance the library's goals, the library is paying 50% to achieve nothing other than embitter hardworking employees. The third comment we received is from Frank Nishimori. And Paula, if you will please set the timer on this comment as well. The library needs to enhance itself as we change. I believe the library is an important location for the community to understand the past of Cincinnati. The library's digital collection, I believe, is an untapped gem. I have a couple of thoughts. Why is the digital library not known by more? It is a great place to browse, but needs some UI assistance. Would be great if there is an easy method for the public to donate their photo history into this resource. It is unclear how this can be done. Nice work, Cincinnati Public Library people. The library has also been a beacon of knowledge for the public. There is a saying, knowledge is power, but only when it is shared. I see the library system as a source of information for all public information. It would be wonderful if the library could be a deposit for all public information. Any information from any public service, police, fire, water, city, government, etc., should place its public information in the library so the library can securely share this information to all. I believe this could save money, resources in the long run because each service does not need to create a secure and safe location. This would put more load on library services, but the library would be the center point of all public information, and I believe they could do it more efficiently than the other services. Go Cincinnati Library, and thanks. So that is the end of the public comment section. Now we'd like to move on. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to have Paula make her Eva Jane Romaine-Coombe Director's Report, and we're going to address each of the resolutions as Paula walks through her report so we have context for those resolutions. So Paula, I'm going to turn over to you for the Eva Jane Romaine-Coombe Director's Report, please.
Thank you, Ms. Conan. I appreciate that. I am Paula Brumheger, and this is the Eva Jane Romaine-Coombe Director's Report, beginning with the topic of the Cincinnati Recreation Commission. In July of 2018, the Price Hill Library suffered a ceiling collapse that revealed additional structural issues leading to the closure of that 111-year-old location. Thanks to the partnership of the Cincinnati Rec Commission, we were able to quickly move into a space located in the nearby Price Hill CRC facility. At the end of May 2020, the temporary location was closed in preparation for the upcoming opening of the renovated and expanded Price Hill Branch Library, currently scheduled for early 2021. The nearly 2-year partnership with the CRC was a tremendous asset to the library, allowing us to maintain a presence in the Price Hill community and providing continuity of service as we look to expand our footprint in that neighborhood. So it is recommended that the board approve a resolution thanking the Cincinnati Recreation Commission for the partnership and the support. And I believe Mr. Hendon is reading that one, Monica?
That's correct. Bob, if you'll go ahead and walk us through that resolution of appreciation, that would be great.
Okay, hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, resolution of appreciation for the Cincinnati Recreation Commission. Whereas the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County and the Cincinnati Recreation Commission, residents of Priceville communities, and whereas the mission of the current Cincinnati Recreation Commission is to support the culture of lifelong, which aligns closely with the library's efforts to support and encourage lifelong learning. As the library had an immediate need for a temporary space in Priceville beginning in July 2018, partial seal.
Oh, we may have lost Mr. Hendon there.
Should we give him just a couple seconds?
There you go, sir. Yeah. Bob, you might
All
turn
right,
off your
whereas-
video. It might give you more ability to have better sound if you just turn off your video while you're reading that.
Can you not hear me?
It kind of was going in and out.
All right. I don't know how to do that, but I'll work through
There you
it.
go. You got it.
I got it for him.
Okay.
All right. Whereas the Cincinnati Recreation Commission answered the call and leased space to the library inside of the Priceville Recreation Center, and whereas the Priceville Recreation Center staff has always been welcoming, accommodating, and all around great hosts and neighbors, and whereas we are stronger together and recognize the many benefits of collaboration and partnering to increase our positive impact in our community, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, on behalf of its staff, formally thank the Cincinnati Recreation Commission, including the commissioners, Director Daniel Betts, and the staff of the Priceville Recreation Center for answering the call during our time of need and for embodying a spirit of collaboration and not only helping the library continue to serve Priceville community, but that has opened the doors to further opportunities to work together toward making Cincinnati's a vibrant community where all can thrive.
Thank you, Bob. Molly, we need a roll call vote for,
I need a motion and a second first.
all right, let's do that.
I move that we adopt the resolution.
I second. This is Monica.
That was Bob.
Okay, Miss Allen? I'll come back to her. Miss Conan?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Miss Allen? I'm going to go with yes. Mrs. Lamacchia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Miss Redden?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Paula, will you continue with your report, please?
Certainly. The next section is on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our library is taking a critical look at our internal practices and policies as part of our commitment to an equity-based service model. While we have integrated into our long-term facilities planning what we learned during our 2019 community engagement sessions for the facilities master plan, we recognize a strong need to prioritize issues and needs expressed by the library's Black, Indigenous, and people of color staff. We are partnering with Design Impact, a nonprofit social innovation firm we worked with for our FMP, to facilitate conversations specifically with our staff. Hearing from our staff is the critical first step and will guide our work, including the development of recommendations and an action plan to move our organization forward. Human Resources Manager Michelle Matthews will lead the staff planning team for this initiative. Following these initial essential conversations, we will engage the assistance of a partner specializing in equity, inclusion, and continue our growth. As the community as a whole continues to recognize and address the long-term negative impacts of racism, we recommend that the board approve the resolution in support of advancing racial equity and inclusion in support of our work and the recent resolutions passed by the city and county leadership.
Thank you, Paula. Diane Cunningham Redden, would you like to submit the resolution for consideration?
Yes, thank you. Resolution in support of advancing racial equity and inclusion. Whereas the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County's mission and vision is to connect people to the world of ideas and information and to assure equitable access to our programs and services. And whereas the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County stands in firm support of racial equity and inclusion and is a signatory of the Urban Libraries Council Statement on Race and Social Equity. And whereas the library is just embarking on its own racial equity initiative to examine policies, procedures, structures, and ways of thinking within our institution which serve to perpetuate biases and inequitable outcomes in order to address them, and to work to incorporate the concept of equity into all of our functions. And whereas the Hamilton County Commissioners voted July 16, 2020, and the Cincinnati City Council voted on August 5, 2020, to declare racism a public health crisis. And whereas the declaration by the commissioners stated that the county government will, quote, seek to build alliances and partnerships with organizations that are confronting racism and encourages other state, local, regional, and national entities to recognize racism as a public health crisis, end quote. And whereas the declaration by the commissioners, quote, encourages all community leaders and state stakeholders in the health, education, employment, housing, criminal justice, and safety arenas to recognize racism as a public health crisis and to implement portions or all of this declaration and to take those actions they can to promote equity within the Hamilton County community, end quote. Therefore, be it resolved that the library prioritizes closing the gap of racial disparities, recognizes racism as a public health crisis, and commits to working within its own institution as well as with other organizations and community members to confront racism in all of its forms and to connect communities of color, marginalized communities, and vulnerable communities to resources within Hamilton County and beyond that promote equitable social, economic outcomes for and with all.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
Betsy, I move to accept it.
Thank you.
Diane, I would second.
Thank you, Diane.
I will second it.
Okay. Miss Allen? Okay. A little bit. You're a little pingy. Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamacchia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have state funding for public libraries during the pandemic. In late July, the Ohio Controlling Board approved $18.3 million in CARES Act funding for Ohio's public libraries. The state of Ohio would provide up to $25,000 to each public library buildings to assist them in operating safely during the COVID-19 pandemic. While more details about the regulations for the spending of these funds and the timing and method for distribution of the money is yet to be released, we deeply appreciate the recognition of the cost associated with our pandemic preparedness work and the state support for public libraries like ours as we provide essential services to our communities during these difficult times. It is recommended that the board approve the resolution thanking the Ohio Controlling Board and members of the Ohio Senate.
So Paula, it's Monica. I will take a shot at putting this resolution into the record. So, whereas Ohio's public libraries, including the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, have long been essential institutions and are vital to the community, both in good times and in time of crisis, and the public has especially relied on public libraries as a resource for trusted information, learning opportunities, early literacy, workforce development, internet access, and recreation during the COVID-19 global pandemic. And whereas during Ohio's shutdown due to the pandemic, the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County adapted their services by offering programs and assistance virtually, expanding digital collections, providing 24/7 Wi-Fi access outside our buildings, curating e-resources for our community, and more. And during that time, the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County offered 665 virtual, on-demand, and Facebook Live programs, answered over 1,000 questions through our My Librarian services, assisted community members by phone, email, and online chat over 71,000 times, signed up nearly 8,000 new library cardholders, and had an average of 500 community members per day access its Wi-Fi. And whereas the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County developed innovative ways to offer both contactless and in-person service while prioritizing customer and staff safety. And in June of this year, the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County served over 26,000 customers via curbside, walk-up, in-mail, and after-hours locker service, and sent more than 1,600 faxes and scans on behalf of customers in need of services to the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services. And whereas the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County connected with community partners to serve those in need by making over 700 masks for TriHealth and our maker spaces, distributing over 5,000 books to low-income youth through partners like the Cincinnati Recreation Commission, served nearly 17,000 meals to youth, supported groups like the Community Action Agency to implement eviction prevention efforts, loaned hotspots to the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority to distribute to elderly residents who needed internet access for telehealth and other key services and more. And whereas CARES Act funding for the Ohio Public Libraries will help offset the unanticipated costs of the increased sanitation of public library buildings and for the purchase of PPE that will help promote safety among library staff and the public, therefore be it resolved that on this day of August 11th, 2020, that we, the members of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County Board of Trustees, extend our sincere appreciation to members of the Ohio Controlling Board and the Ohio Senate for making public libraries a priority during the COVID-19 pandemic and for appropriating $18.3 million of CARES Act funding to help us meet critical community needs. Could we please have a motion to accept this resolution?
Betsy, so moved.
Diane, second.
Thank you, Betsy and
Miss Allen? Miss Conan?
yes.
Mr. Hendon? Mr. Hendon? I'll go back. Mrs. Lamacchia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Miss Redden?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon, are you a yes on that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now onto the brand identity launch. The new brand is set to launch simultaneously with our new website on this coming Monday, August 17th. LPK, the company working with us on our brand identity re-envisioning project, and the marketing department have put together an unveiling that will be mostly digital. For capacity reasons, the initial changes will be primarily visible on social media, but as we move into the fall, all of our media will begin to reflect the new look. LPK Marketing and Internal Communications are putting together staff training to familiarize our entire team with how to live the brand in their day-to-day duties. For the launch, staff will receive t-shirts and lanyards. As part of the brand identity re-envisioning process, LPK recommended simplifying the name of the library and reorganizing the wording to emphasize the community we serve. While several iterations were considered by the staff planning team, a key determining factor was the need and desire to be inclusive of both our city and county. Therefore, the recommended new name for the library is Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. The new name achieves both the desire to simplify the name and puts an emphasis on our community by putting Cincinnati and Hamilton County first. We will begin implementing this change immediately, but the legally effective date will be January 1, 2021. It is recommended that the board approve the resolution to change the library's name.
Betsy Lamacchia, will you please introduce the resolution to make this change?
Okay, the resolution on changing the name of the library. Whereas the library serves the city of Cincinnati and Hamilton County with 16 locations in the city and 26 locations in the county. And whereas because the library has not undergone an evaluation of its logo, brand, or identity in over 20 years, the library initiated work to revision the library's brand and identity in the summer of 2019 to ensure that it was aligned with the community. And whereas, as part of the brand identity revisioning process, the staff planning team recommended simplifying the name of the library, prioritizing the need and desire for the name to be inclusive of both the city and the county. And whereas the library's new brand will launch on August 17th, 2020, in conjunction with the launch of the new website, and whereas the authority to change the library's name is granted to this Board of Trustees in Section 3375.34 of the Ohio Revised Code, therefore be it resolved that the effective upon passage of this resolution, the brand name of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County shall be changed to the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library, by which it shall be known in the future, and legally effective January 1st, 2021. And it shall be the name under which the library may acquire and convey property, contact, sue, or be sued, or perform any other official act. Whereas said board is organized under Section 3375.22 of the Ohio Revised Code and derives its authority from Section 3375.40 and other relative sections of the ORC, the board is a body politic and corporate, and as such is capable of suing and being sued, contracting, acquiring, holding, possessing, and disposing of real and personal property, and of exercising such other powers and privileges as are conferred upon it by law, Section 3375.33 ORC. Therefore be it resolved that effective upon this passage of this resolution, the name of this body is the Board of Trustees, the Board of Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library, the Library, Section 3375.34 ORC. And I move that the board accept this policy.
This is Bob Hendon. I second.
Miss Allen?
We see you, Judge Allen. Just can't hear you quite yet.
Okay, I'm taking that as a yes. Miss Conan?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamacchia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Miss Redden?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. A couple of more items here quickly on my report. First, West End outdoor space enhancement. Through the Library Foundation, a donor has provided a commitment to support technology enhancements at our West End branch with the focus on needs due to the pandemic. This investment will be used to refresh the previously unused west courtyard of the branch, providing computers for customers in a quiet outdoor area that is enclosed within the building. Also, just briefly, the statistical report, the quarterly statistical highlight for the second quarter of 2020, April to June of 2020, is included in these documents. This report contains statistics on our traditional measure of usage, circulation and visits, which is a report you've all seen, as well as additional statistics on how we have continued to provide service during the pandemic. We reopened some locations in late May and more in June. During that time, customers were able to use computers and check out materials. Additionally, we have highlighted the use of very popular faxing services in the highlight report, including the job and family services faxing. This report highlights how locations that may not be at the top traditional measures of use, such as circulation, have high use in other areas, such as faxing. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Paula. All right, let's please continue with the Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee report. Bob, could you please deliver that report?
I can't start the video because the host had stopped it. Okay. All right. Yes, I can. This is quite lengthy, so just bear with me. The Facilities and Finance Audit items. The Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee met virtually on August 3rd, 2020. Committee Chair Robert Hendon, committee members Nadine Allen and Diane Redden Cunningham, along with Board President Monica Dothan-Conan and Board Member Greg Olson were in attendance. Staff members Paula Bramheger and Molly DeFossi were also in attendance. It is the recommendation of the committee that the board take the following action. This is revision to the 2020 estimated resources and annual appropriations and PLF update. Approve the following resolution, following revisions. The updated PLF estimate for the calendar year 2020 reflects a reduction of $3,199,006 from the original estimate. We have revised the budget for several other revenue items based on year-to-date actual. We have reviewed expenditure to date and anticipated expenditures and encumbrances for the remainder of the year. Early actions taken in anticipation of revenue decreases, such as the delay of staff member increases, staff hour reductions, and staff furloughs, result in current salary savings of approximately $2.5 million. These savings are partially offset by $500,000 in addition unemployment insurance expenses. Another area of significant savings resulting from early strategic action is reduction in the library materials by $1 million. We've also recognized operational savings in many purchased and contracted service areas, including travel and meeting expenses, utilities, contracted security, and professional services as a result of delayed planned projects. There has been a small savings in supplies. So I need authorization for the revisions, for the following revisions also. General fund revenue, other sources, intergovernmental state funding decreased by $3,199,006. Other sources, fines and fees decreased by $609,993. Other sources, earnings and investments decreased by $149,000. So total decrease in resources is $3,958,000. Expenses, salaries decreased by $2.5 million. Retirement benefits decreased by $350,000. Insurance benefits increased by $500,000. Supplies decreased by $25,000. Purchase contract services decreased by $583,000. Library materials decreased by $1 million. So decrease in expenses is $3,958,000. The following revision is also requested to increase the funding for staff morale supplies from the Armstrong Fund. The Armstrong Fund expenses, supplies increased by $5,000, increase in expenses, $5,000. The updated estimate for the 2020 PLF received at the end of June reflects an approximately 7% reduction from the original estimate. Initial certification of 2021 received at the end of July is about 11% less than the original 2020 estimate. There's a chart that reflects these estimates. All right, we need a vote to approve those revisions.
So, Mr. Hendon, are you making the motion?
Yes, I move that we move that we approve those revisions.
Okay,
Betsy, second.
okay. Ms. Allen? Okay. Ms. Conan?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamacchia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on with the report. Main Library Project and Construction Manager at Risk. Approve adopting the Construction Manager at Risk construction delivery model for the Main Library Project. Authorize Molly DeFosse to coordinate and convene the Construction Manager at Risk Evaluation Committee, which includes Molly DeFosse, Coordinator, Jay Durenthal, Chaplain, Architect Advisory Role, Michael Collins, J.S. Held, Owner Representative Advisory Role, Greg Olson, Trustee Advisory Role, Jeff Goering, Brett Bonfield, Paul Bramhager, and Kathy Bach. Authorize the bid below and authorize the committee to review the statement of qualifications Select the top 3 firms, interview the top 3 as part of the second step of the process, where proposals for pricing and technical qualifications are submitted, and make a final recommendation to the board in October 2020. Now, there's a notice of request for qualifications for construction manager at risk. Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County is requesting statement of qualifications pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, section 9.33, et cetera, from firms to provide construction manager at risk services to the main library maintenance and renovation project. Questions may be directed to and requests for qualifications may be obtained by written request from Molly DeFosse, Chief Financial and Facilities Officer. Then there's a website there, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's quite long. It takes half a page. Qualifications would be accepted until 12 p.m. local time, September 14th, 2020. In addition, library leadership recently met with 4 firms to discuss potential owners rep services. These firms were Cushman, Wakefield, Brown Engineering and Construction, and JS Held and JLL. In reviewing the firms' experience in the areas below were discussed and considered. Leading large urban projects, working with publicly funded projects and public bidding, delivery methods, evolving scope projects, working with the City of Cincinnati, challenges identified with like projects, strengths the firm would bring to the project. The library has chosen to work with JS Held on the project and will evaluate the needs as each phase and resulting project scope is identified. Now, moving on, Price Hill Branch project update.
Mr. Hendon,
Yes.
we're going to do a vote there. I need a motion and a second.
All right, I move that we approve the recommendations.
Diane,
That's
second.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, moving on to Price Hill Branch project update. Confirm the following approved change orders. For Jostin Construction, change order number 2 for $15,000.04. SSRG for Masonry, change order of $1,044. For CHC Manufacturing for structural steel, change order of $4,409. For Geiger Construction Projects for Windows Storefront, change order $2,769.10. For OK Interiors Corporation for framing and drywall, $14,164.44. For Delta Electric Contractors for electrical, change order for $2,420. The change orders are a result of modifications to original specifications that we either missed in the design project requiring clarification as the detail work got underway, or the contractor suggested an opportunity for savings. To date, there are 11 formal approval change orders totaling a net deduct of $7,339.97. Net deduct is primarily the result of deduct of $53,339 for Geiger Construction as a result of value engineering change suggested by the contractor. That's unusual. Usually you get change orders to increase the value, increase the cost.
We were happy with that one.
There have been, what?
I said we were happy about that one.
Yeah. There have been several issues with the design of the project, which has resulted in a significant amount of resolution time and increased costs. These issues include, but are not limited to, after contracts had been issued, Fishback informed an internal audit of their structural steel drawings, which resulted in several modifications. During design, the library requested that the co-ceiling be removed in the original building to make sure that all environmental issues were resolved. This detail was not included in the drawings, resulting in redesign and a change order. During design, the library emphasized the importance of acoustic insulation in certain spaces. This detail was not included in the drawings, resulting in a change order. During design, the library requested bypass entry doors, but the final specifications included swinging doors. This has been corrected by a change order. The flooring in the old building was deteriorating wood flooring, and the design notes missed, including replacement of this flooring. There was a lack of coordination with Fishbeck and the structural and architectural drawings for the interior stairway, which resulted in a redesign and change order. Duct openings through masonry walls were not clarified on the drawings. Fire suppression design calculations were not accurate. All major concrete pours for the project have been completed on grade and on elevated floors for the new addition. The exterior brick and cast stone masonry is in progress at all elevations in the new addition. Roof replacement, new roof installation beginning on site. Interior wells and door frames are being installed in the existing building with plumbing, electrical, HVAC above the ceiling in progress in all areas. Storefront window systems are scheduled to be delivered and being installed. Owner occupancy is still on track to occur the first quarter of 2021. All right, now the Walnut Hills branch.
Mr. Hendon, we're going to
Yes.
do it separate.
What?
So we need a motion and a second, and then all in favor. We're doing all these separate.
All right, so I need the approval. I move that we approve that report.
Betsy, second.
Did we lose Molly?
Sounds like it.
I think we lost Molly for a minute there.
Okay.
We'll just give her a second.
So,
Paula, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, I can't hear anybody.
Ryan, can you chat to Molly and just ask her to do the roll call here real quick?
Sure can, one second.
And while we're at it, Nadine, I think you're having some sound issues. I don't know if you can just call in and just do a phone call because we can't really hear you. And I'm not sure if you can
I'm going to
hear us
leave
or
and come
not.
back.
Nadine, I sent you some information that you can use on your cell phone, or you can look in the chat, or you can pull up that phone call and the password to get in.
Yeah,
I sent it to your cell phone as well.
thanks, Greg.
You're welcome. One other thing, Nadine, when you do call in, you'll need to turn off your microphone because we'll get lots of feedback if you don't.
Well, I will fill in here while Molly comes back on, and I will do a quick roll call
Can you
on
hear
the.
me?
Oh yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear anybody.
All right. Paula, why don't you go ahead with the
Yes.
all, or,
I'll do a roll call and give it to Molly here while we figure out what's going on with her. So I'm sorry if this is not quite in the correct order. Judge Allen, Mr. Hendon,
Yes.
Ms. Lamacchia,
Yes.
Ms. Conan,
yes.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
and Ms. Redden.
yes.
Okay. Mr. Hendon, why don't you move on with the Walnut Hills and we'll see what we can do to get this worked out by the time we get to the end of that one.
All right, approve execution into a short-term lease group for temporary space in close proximity to the current branch with the following, and authorize that Eva Jane remain cum director to sign the lease. The monthly rent is $1,500. The space is 1,220 square feet located at 961 McMillan Street, Cincinnati, Ohio. The term is 18th-month lease agreement beginning 9/1/2020. The turnover is as in condition. It's formerly retail space. The parking is located in a former Kroger parking lot. 6 spots at $75 per month each. Utilities, electric, and internet in tenant's name, and a trash fee of $25 per month. Landlord pays water and sewer. The structure, modified gross lease. Landlord is responsible for R&E, taxes, building insurance, and building maintenance. Tenant pays for utilities, insurance, or general liability, contents, and improvements. The building project design has recently reached a 50% construction document design phase, which is still on design schedule. The City of Cincinnati coordinated design review meeting is tentatively scheduled at the end of July, to obtain design comments from city officials in various departments for permitting. The final construction documents are scheduled to be completed by early September the 7th. Megan Construction will begin the final 3-week constructability review, project estimate, and assembly of a guaranteed maximum price to present to the library for review and consideration, which will be presented to Library Board of Trustees for review and approved at the end of October 6th meeting.
Okay, I believe I need a motion
I'm
to
back.
move forward. Oh, Molly's back. Okay, Molly.
I don't know what happened, but I had no sound.
That's okay. Mr. Hendon read the Walnut Hills information, and we are just looking for a motion to
I
accept.
move that we approve the execution of the lease.
Betsy, second.
Okay. We're gonna do a roll call. Miss Allen? Okay. Ms. Conan?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamakia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Fred?
Yes.
Fred? Okay, I'll follow up with her.
We can move on to the next item.
Yes, please.
This is easement acceptance. Acknowledge and approve the easement, Exhibit A, granted by the City of Cincinnati to the library for a new driveway at the Price Hill branch, which was granted on June 11th, 2020. I recommend that we accept the easement.
So moved, Betsy.
Okay,
Second, Diane.
okay. Miss Allen?
I don't think she can hear us still.
Okay. Ms. Conan?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamakia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next item is benefit refunds. Authorize refunds to staff members for their appropriated share of insurance premiums issued to the library. Many insurance providers are issuing partial premium refunds to their customers during the pandemic. The library has received refunds from both our medical and dental insurance providers. The premiums for both of these are shared with our staff members. As a result, we recommend sharing the refund with staff members. The employee contribution rate of 16% or 5% based on the plan exceeds selected is $5,690.45. Of the medical premium refund is $36,438, which will be allocated among participating staff on a prorated portion of their premium. Likewise, the employee contribution rate of 35% or $3,733 of the dental premium refund of $10,666 will be allocated among participating staff on a prorated portion of their premium. And I move that we authorize those refunds.
Second, Betsy.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we move on to the next item?
Yes.
Okay, Mount Healthy Branch lease renewal Approve exercising the 2-year renewal option of the current Mount Healthy lease, which was executed in 2017 for 3 years and included a 2-year renewal option with the landlord McMakin Lodge number 120 F and AM. That includes a 1% increase in rent each year beginning August 1st, 2020 at $18,813.61 and increased to $18,031.74 on August 1, 2021. That's a big increase.
No, it's 1,800.
Yeah,
Now, that's the whole
18.
rent.
It was 1,800,
What'd I say?
18,000.
Oh, it's $1,813 and $1,831.
$1, yes.
Okay. So we need to approve that lease. I so move.
Second,
Second, Betsy.
okay.
Hey, Molly, you can go ahead and try Judge Allen. I kind of have her on the phone here with me, so we'll see if you guys can hear her, if you give a
Okay.
roll.
Okay, Judge Allen?
Hello? Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Ms. Conan?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Ms. Slovakia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next one.
All right, now we'll move on to the Madisonville Branch Project. Approve the Madisonville Branch lease subject to the resolution of the fine print details, making sure that the best interests of the library are protected, and final legal review with the following key items. Landlord is Madisonville Phase 3 LLC. Description of the property is 8,762 estimated square feet in new mixed-use property block between Prentice Street, Wetzel Avenue, Madison Road, and Matthias Street. Estimated completion of property is spring of 2020. Occupancy 180 days after completion. The initial lease term is for 15 years. Next is from 1 to 60 months is $15 per square foot, estimated at $10,952.50. 61 to 120 months, $16 per square foot, estimated $11,682.67 per month. And 120 to 180 121 to 180 months is $17 per square foot, estimated $12,412.83 per month. CAM estimated at $4,605 per month. Renewal options, 2 5-year lease, 2 5-year options at market rental value. Build out contribution from landlord, $40 per square foot, currently estimated at $350,480. Option to purchase at fair market value between 7.5 and 9.5 year of lease. Estimated project cost to the library to be determined. Authorize the Eva Jane Rooming Corrector to execute the lease. I so move that we accept that lease proposal.
Second, Betsy.
Okay. Ms. Allen?
Yes, I approve.
Ms. Conan?
Abstain.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamakia?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Now, these are for information only, so we don't need any more votes from you. So you can turn off your computers and go back to doing whatever you're doing, washing the dishes, drying the dishes. The energy retrofit project update. All the contractors have completed their work and equipment is installed. Some punch list items remain in progress, as do final inspections of completed work. We expect all details and paperwork to be completed by the end of September. The Deer Park branch update. The lease for Deer Park and agreement with GBBN for design services have both been executed. Initializing the work done during the FMP process, experience gained at Price Hill and Walnut Hills design process, and the preliminary feasibility work done in Deer Park, the library has been able to expedite the program development provided by GBBN. We are working with the architect on possible early release projects so we can accelerate the construction. The following is a high-level timeline. Schematic design complete August 2020. Design development complete October 2020. Bidding December 2020. Construction February, June of 2021. Branch opening July 2021. All right, 2019 audit update. The audit is complete and the library received a clean opinion and clean GAS opinion. There are no management letter comments. In addition, the fiscal officer completed the comprehensive annual financial report, which was submitted to the Government Finance Office Association for participation in the annual award program. The library will mail a report to each board member. The electric provider. The library has worked with Energy Alliance to procure our electric and gas suppliers for many years. Our current contract with Dynergy expires in September. We worked with the Energy Alliance early this summer and secured very good pricing for 4 years. Our current rate is 0.0481 cents per kilowatt hour, and our new rate is 0.04613, which represents a little over $28,000 a year in savings. We signed the agreement with Energy Harbor located in Akron. We point this out for 2 reasons. First, there's an anticipated annual savings, and second, because Energy Harbor has been in the news recently. As always, we want to be transparent as possible. The auditors reviewed the documentation regarding past procurement of electric suppliers during their audit, and this year there were no comments. Preparing branches for restarting service. Facilities, technology, and service staff working together to ensure all locations are equipped with sneeze guards and other plexiglass barriers to begin working with the public. Overall, we installed 235 sneeze guards and distributed about 350 face shields to staff. We're also working with staff to set up signage and hand sanitizer mask stations in compliance with safe reopening protocols online by the governor and the Responsible Restart Ohio information and local health commissions. We moved furniture and provided necessary alterations in floor plans and furniture layout so that visitors can easily access resources while maintaining adequate social distancing. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes.
Thank you. So why don't we go ahead and move to the Human Resources Committee report. Nadine,
All right.
would you like to submit the report, please?
Yeah, this is Nadine Allen, Chair of the committee. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. This is the Human Service Resources Committee. New policy and policy updates. A goal for 2020 has been to review and revise outdated policies in an effort to ensure that they are clear, concise, and reflect the current practices of the library. Human Resources has worked with Lori's, a law firm with extensive experience working with Ohio libraries, to craft or to revise several policies. We request approval of the attached policy updates and changes. The new policies are attached as follows: Safe Driving Policy Exhibit A, Reduction in Workforce Policy, Proposed Exhibit B, Current Policy Exhibit C. I want to ask if I can not read the current policies and just read the proposed new policies. And next is absence because of emergency closing policy, proposed policy exhibit D, current policy exhibit E. Paid time off policy, proposed policy exhibit F, current policy exhibit G. Personal appearance policy, proposed policy exhibit H, current policy exhibit I. Safe driving policy. To meet the new requirements of our library auto insurance provider, a safe driving policy needed as a condition of our auto renewal. This new policy outlines the expectations of all staff members who are driving on behalf of the library in any capacity. The draft policy is outlined in Exhibit A and is recommended for approval. Reduction in workforce policy in an effort to provide clear, updated communication and expectations around any staffing reconfiguration or organizational changes that result in a reduction in workforce. A revised reduction in workforce policy is recommended for approval and attached in Exhibit B. The current policy attached in Exhibit C was last reviewed in 2005 and was found to be in need of updating to reflect current terminology, positions, and practices. Absent because of emergency closing. In order to address inconsistent terminology, language that is repetitive and unclear, and outdated practices, a revised absence because of emergency closing policy is recommended for approval and shown in Exhibit D. The current policy is reflected in Exhibit E. In preparation, paid time off policy. In preparation for moving to an updated timekeeping system that features a needed scheduling component, the opportunity emerged to review the current PTO policy, Exhibit G. The proposed PTO policy, Exhibit F, offers a more equitable and accrual method where it can approve PTO by the hour rather than by part-time or full-time designation. For instance, a 24-hour employee will now accrue more PTO than a 20-hour employee. A higher cap on PTO accrual maximums for most staff, and a requirement for one consecutive week of PTO to be taken to promote staff well-being. Personal appearance policy. In an effort to update expectations that address how staff roles in the library have transformed, proposed changes to the personal appearance policy, Exhibit H, are recommended for approval. Accompanying personal appearance guidelines, which include the ability to wear jeans and athletic shoes, will be introduced to staff to reflect the more active duties and tasks that are being performed. Informational items only. Renewal benefits renewal for 2021. Preparation for the 2021 renewal of medical and voluntary benefits is continuing. On Tuesday, July 28, 2020, the library received the initial renewal numbers from Anthem Strategic Benefits, the library's benefits broker. Then submitted requests for quotes from other major medical carriers on behalf of the library. Staff Benefits Renewal Work Group is being formed and will be meeting with Strategic Benefits for an overview of current medical plans as well as data that will impact our renewal. The Benefits Renewal Work Group is designed to offer transparency, understanding, and effective communication around the renewal process. Staff members on furlough. Due to our reduced ability to provide full services to the public, on Thursday, July 16, 2020, the difficult decision was made to furlough 58 staff members. The impacted agencies are floaters in the Service Division, Genealogy and Local History, Information and Reference, and Youth Services. To address immediate staffing needs in other agencies due to position vacancies that occurred during the hiring freeze, 18 positions were posted and promoted to our furloughed staff, encouraging them to apply. First consideration was given to our furloughed staff when filling these positions. And at this time, 19 of the furloughed staff applied for open positions, and 14 of these staff have accepted new positions. Suit files on Monday, August 3rd, 2020 at 10:02 a.m. We received a wrongful termination charge via email. The charge of wrongful termination based on the First Amendment right to free speech was filed by Eric Noble. A response is being prepared in collaboration with attorney Matt Wagner. Exhibit A is the proposed safe driving policy. The following rules apply whenever an employee is driving on library business or operating a library vehicle. You must possess a valid state driver's license and not be subject to any driving license limitations that would prevent you from driving the vehicle. You must immediately report any limitations placed on your ability or privilege to drive by any medical or legal authority. The driver and all passengers must wear safety belts. Abide by all federal, state, and local laws. Do not drive while under the influence of any substance that could impair your ability to drive safely, including but not limited to illegal drugs, prescription drugs, controlled substances, alcohol, and over-the-counter medications. No illegal drugs or alcohol are permitted in the vehicle. Do not drive when your ability to drive safely is impaired by fatigue, texting, emailing, sending or reviewing data, web surfing, game playing, and all other forms of distracted driving behavior is prohibited under all circumstances. Even if state or local laws permit telephone usage while driving, the library strongly encourages employees to refrain from such usage, including talking or listening to another person on the phone while driving. Telephone calls should be made or received only after you have proceeded to a safe location off the road with the vehicle safely stopped. If talking on the phone while driving is unavoidable, you must use a hands-free device and keep the call as short as possible. Employees who use or are using GPS technology for directions should set those devices prior to the beginning of their trip. In the event of an accident, stay with the vehicle and file a police report or otherwise cooperate with the police as applicable. Unless you are unable to do so because you require prompt medical attention away from the scene of the accident, report the details of the accident to your manager as soon as possible. Do not drive a vehicle that is unsafe. If you become aware that a library vehicle is unsafe or in need of maintenance, you must bring this issue to the attention of your manager as soon as possible. You are legally and financially responsible for any traffic ticket or citations you receive. If you receive a ticket citation, or citation while driving a library vehicle, you must promptly report that to your manager. Violations of this policy may result in discipline up to and including termination. Exhibit B, proposed reduction in workforce policy. The library strives to provide a stable work environment in all its staff members. However, unstable funding, periodic review of operations, organizational changes, and or reconfiguring of the workforce may result in a reduction in workforce by either a temporary furlough, layoff, or permanent job elimination within a department or branch. When reasonably possible, the library will attempt to give advance notice of furloughs, layoffs, and job eliminations. When appropriate and consistent with business needs, the library will consider seniority as a factor in decisions regarding furloughs, layoffs, and job eliminations. No paid leave time, such as vacation, sick leave, etc., will accrue while a staff member is on furlough or layoff status. If a staff member is a participant in the library's benefits program and the library has extended benefits during a furlough or layoff period, staff member must make arrangements to pay his or her portion of the premium for such period benefits during that period. A staff member on furlough or layoff status will be considered to have resigned if they are offered a job by the library and 1, declines the job offer, or 2, fails to respond to the job offer within 5 days. The library reserves the right to vary from the above procedures at its discretion as necessary to meet business needs. Exhibit C. This is the current policy.
Yeah, that's right. You can go on down to Exhibit B, I
Okay,
think.
I'm going to go on to the next new proposed policy, which is down Exhibit D, proposed absence because of emergency closing policy. While the library is a public service institution and has an obligation to maintain regular hours for the public, it is recognized that there are emergency situations in which it may be necessary to close one or more library agencies for all or part of a regular working day. In such instances, staff members may be reassigned to work in another agency or may be sent home or told not to report to work. If staff are sent home or told not to report to work, they will be paid for the hours they were scheduled to work that day had the library agency remained open. Staff members who were scheduled to be on paid leave, such as sick leave, vacation, or other authorized leave, on a day when the library closes for an emergency situation will receive their paid leave as usual. Staff members who are not scheduled to work or to be on paid leave on a day when the library closes for an emergency situation will not be paid for that day. When the library is to be closed for an entire day because of an emergency. I'm hearing, is that bad?
Oh, that's just the announcement here at the library. You're fine.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. When the library is to be closed for an entire day because of an emergency, announcements will be made through email, the library emergency alert notification, and local news media as frequently as possible so that staff members will not report to work. This policy applies to emergency closings that last for all or part of one day. For emergency closings that last for more than one workday, the library will notify employees regarding whether or not or how they will be paid for such closings. When expenses are incurred by a staff member who is requested by the Eva Jane Romaine Coombe Director to perform service during an emergency. Such actual expenses shall be reimbursed with proof of receipt of expenditure upon approval of the Eva Jane Romaine Coombe Director. We're skipping Exhibit E. We're going down to Exhibit F. The proposed paid time policy. The library grants paid time off (PTO) to employees regularly scheduled to work at least 20 hours per week. Number one, are grades 7 through 15. These are regular full-time and part-time employees in grades 7 to 15 are granted PTO at 0.105 hours per hour worked as defined below, up to the following amount per year. 40-hour per week employees can earn up to 218.4 hours per year. 24-hour per week employees can earn up to 131.04 hours per year. 20-hour per week employees can earn up to 109.2 hours per year. Number two is grades 1 to 6. In the initial year of employment, regular full-time and part-time employees in grades 1 through 6 are granted PTO at 0.066 hours per hour work, as defined below, up to the following amount per year. 40-hour per week employees can earn up to 137.28 hours per year. 24-hour per week employees can earn up to 82.368 hours per year. 20-hour per week employees can earn up to 68.64 hours per year. This annual PTO benefit increases every 2 years of service, up to a maximum benefit equivalent of employees in grades 7 through 15, in accordance with the schedule attached as Exhibit A. General provisions. Hours worked includes the following pay codes: regular, holiday, PTO, sick, bereavement, jury duty, court witness, conference meeting, delay open, premium hours, and training.
Hey, Nadine,
Yes.
in the interest of time, I'm going to ask Monica, these are the provisions in A are a little bit, oh, Nadine, are you there? Oh, I think we lost Nadine. Hold on one second. Okay.
I'm gonna.
I think we lost Nadine. Monica, I was simply going to ask if we might not read the general provisions because they're so specific in nature.
I think that's fine, Paula.
Let me see if I can not get Nadine back on the phone. Let's see. Monica, it is up to you if you want to accept the report and take a call here or take a vote here without the actual reading of the remaining, since they're in here for people to review. If I can't get Nadine back, we're almost done with it, and they're just the text. Or I think Mrs. Lamacchia is also on the call and could do that remaining reading.
Oh, you want me to read the last one?
It's up to Monica if you would like her to read the personal appearance policy real quick.
Okay. The library presents a professional image to the community as an institution that provides excellent service and accurate information in a friendly and efficient manner. Library staff are expected to reinforce that image through their attire. It is our policy that all staff present a neat and clean appearance and wear clothes that is appropriate to the library and to the work being performed. Additionally, staff must dress in a manner that allows them to safely perform their job duties. Because there are many different tasks performed at the library, there are differences in what is appropriate attire for those who work in various roles. The library provides guidelines that are meant to assist in providing direction in regards to what is appropriate attire for the workplace. The library reserves the right to determine attire appropriateness. It is the responsibility of the manager to explain expectations and counsel staff concerning their appearance when necessary.
Thank you, Betsy.
And I will move to accept the report.
Great.
Diane, second.
Thank you, Diane. Molly, do you want to go ahead with the roll call for the acceptance HR report?
You said Miss Allen is not here, Paula. Is that true? Okay.
I can't get her back on, and I'm not sure if she's on the call generally right now. So I'd go on without her. Yeah.
Okay. Miss Conan,
Yes.
Mr. Hendon,
Yes.
Mrs. Lamacchia,
Yes.
Mr. Olson,
Yes.
Ms. Redden.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, why don't we go ahead now with the information items? We'll start with the Operations Committee, please. Diane Cunningham Redden, will you take this report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Featured manager today is Ella Mulford, manager of Popular Library. Ella Mulford started her career at the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library as a part-time library service assistant at the Green Hills branch in 2011. She completed her MLIS at Florida State University in 2012. She was promoted to the teen librarian position at the Mount Washington branch in 2013, and then to Avondale branch manager in 2014. In 2014, Ella was one of the 2014 YWCA Rising Stars, and the following year she was selected as an American Library Association's Emerging Leaders in Libraries. Ella was integral to the creation of Maine Library's Makerspace and was appointed team leader of the Tech Center Makerspace in November 2014. Ella became the branch manager at Corryville in 2016, and in 2018 was promoted to manager of the Popular Library. She has remained involved in the American Library Association and has served on its Committee on Diversity, Constitution and Bylaws Committee, and Committee on Legislation. Ella is also a member of the Education Committee for the Contemporary Arts Center.
Hello, my name is Ella Mulford, and I'm the Department Manager for the Popular Library. Thank you to the Board of Trustees for having me at this afternoon's meeting. The Popular Library Department's role is running the first floor of the main library's South Building. We are the first point of contact for many people who visit the main library. When we were recalled to the building for in-person services, our main question was, what does library service look like in a pandemic? Myself, senior leadership, and my colleagues came together to figure out how we could serve our customers in a limited capacity and reduce duration during these times. We came up with a plan that included personal protective equipment, plexiglass, hand sanitizer, gloves, and a coordinated floor plan. Staff had the opportunity to walk through the space and ask questions or offer suggestions. We opened our doors on June 29th and quickly realized we need to make some adjustments. We added 5 more computers and opened up browsing of materials almost immediately. We also began to see what was working and what was not working. When we had to close in-person services on July 6th and resume drive-through only, we took that opportunity to reassess what we were doing and make improvements. I got input from staff regarding what changes they would like to see once we reopened to customers again. All changes after this were staff-led. This included more support from our colleagues in marketing, technology, and facilities who were more than up to the task. Signs were made and plexi was cut almost on demand. We got access to Zoho, a screen sharing software, to help customers on the computers while staying 6 feet apart. Staff computers were moved and adjusted to fit our needs. We were able to reconfigure our service model almost overnight. We worked together to move magazines and children's materials to the first floor, and we opened our reading garden to customers with their own devices looking to utilize our Wi-Fi. The results have been positive. We have been consistently thinking and pivoting on how to make it work safely for ourselves and also for our customers who need us and our services even during a pandemic. So when I think again on our original question is what does library service look like in a pandemic? I can say that it mostly looks like it always has. Staff working together as a team towards a common goal and customers getting fast and friendly help. Thank you.
Ella, thank you very much.
That's nice.
I speak for the board when I say we really appreciate your ability to be so nimble and to adjust to ever-changing circumstances. So thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Ella. So moving on, reopening schedule and services. As of August 3rd, the library is providing curbside or drive-through service at all locations with the exception of Price Hill, which is closed for a major renovation and expansion project. We are offering in-person service for access to computers, printers, and faxing, browsing and holds pickup at all locations except Elmwood Place, Green Hills, Mount Healthy, and North Central. North Central, which had a delay in its reopening because of an HVAC repair, is scheduled to open for in-person service on August 24, and Green Hills, which is co-located in a building with Winton Woods City School District administrative offices, will reopen for in-person service after Labor Day. Elmwood Place and Mount Healthy are two of our smallest locations, and social distancing is a great challenge due to its size and layout of the building. All locations providing service are open from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Saturdays, with special hours for vulnerable populations on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 10 a.m. till noon. As part of its reopening plan, the library has instituted numerous guidelines and protocols to ensure that it is providing outstanding customer service while mitigating safety concerns for community members and staff.
Diane, thank you so much for that report. Let's go ahead now and move to the strategy committee, please. Betsy?
Okay.
get that
Okay. Yeah, it's Betsy. All right. As we know, the beginning of this school year has been like no other in recent history. So we have been trying to support learning and teaching in the different new ways. Thanks to our leadership of the library trustee, Karen Clemens, the library is working with her team to move forward to provide library cards for all the Cincinnati school students and teachers. In late July, we emailed all the other district superintendents in the county to encourage them to get in touch about distributing library cards to students and teachers. On the week of August 10th, the Lifelong Learning Makerspace Tech Center and Outreach planned activities for the teachers to raise the awareness about our resources. Lifelong Learning also planned a virtual back-to-school event for parents and caregivers to help them access the resources and to support remote learning. The Education and Homework Support is working on revisioning what kind of homework help that we're going to need for the first half of the school year. Branch staff are encouraged to think about how the students' needs will be different this year and how to accommodate them to both indoor and outdoor spaces to support their needs within the parameters of our current limitations on the occupancy and the physical distancing. The strategy staff is participating in weekly virtual meetings with other youth serving organizations and representatives from the Cincinnati Public Schools to coordinate their support for the students and families. In our community engagement, the eviction prevention, in 2019, we partnered extensively, with the Legal Aid Society of Southwest Ohio, the Community Action Agency, the YMCA, and the St. Vincent de Paul to provide eviction prevention education and assistance in our libraries. Even though we are not hosting large in-person programs at this time, these partners know that our buildings and services are open to the community to provide convenient and free access to computer printing and faxing services for the legal aid clients. Nicholas Denaro, managing attorney from the Legal Aid Society of Southwest Ohio, stated, quote, "Legal Aid truly appreciates our partnership with the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County in combating the eviction crisis facing our community. We view the library as a valued partner that we will continue to collaborate with to address the COVID-19 related housing instability in Hamilton County," end quote. With the blood drive, the library is striving to find new ways to connect our community to vital resources. We intend to contribute to the community health and well-being, especially as the urgency of this need has increased during the pandemic. And we've joined forces with the Hawksworth Blood Center to create a summer blood drive tour at 4 library locations in July and August. And as of August 2nd, more than 94 community members made appointments to donate. Karen Nicholas, the Associate Director of Public Relations at the Hawksworth Blood Center, said, quote, "Summer tends to be one of the hardest periods for blood banks across the country as usage increases, but donor turnout falls, and the COVID-19 pandemic has only created additional complications for the organizations like Hawksworth. We are immensely grateful to the Public Library for hosting these truly life-saving blood drives with us this summer," end quote. The Cincinnati Museum Center approached the library by offering free books to the youth who visited the museum center during its reopening week. So the library provided 1,000 books for all ages of youth on topics related to the exhibits featured in the museum center. And feedback from the museum center staff was overwhelmingly positive, and a meeting is being set up to explore other opportunities to connect the library with the museum's rotating exhibits. And the MC generously acknowledged the library's support in reopening. Support for the unemployment and job search. Library staff have been deployed on site to provide laptops and assistance to the staff of 2 organizations that were forced to carry out layouts. We also continued our partnership with Cincinnati Works and are providing space at the main library for Cincinnati Works to meet with their members and provide in-person assistance. The library is also working with the Cincinnati Compass to better reach and serve the immigrant community, which includes developing virtual story times and workforce development in videos that are in other than English language. Our programs, since the health officials have said that the risk of contracting COVID-19 is not as great outdoors than an indoor setting, the library is taking advantage of the warm weather to try and restore in-person programming in a way that minimizes the risk, and the staff have been encouraged to plan outdoor programs. Some of these outdoor programs include Blue Ash, Harrison, Montford Heights, North Central, Northside, Sharonville, and Westwood. They will follow all safety protocols outlined by Restart Ohio, including limited to no more than 10 people. Agency managers are currently working with regional managers to inventory the outdoor spaces and see about what we have for more functional outdoor services and programs. We hope to be able to use the recently provided funds by the state to the public libraries through CARES to improve these spaces. Virtual programs. In June and July, the library hosted 200 live interactive programs through Teams, Zoom, and other digital spaces. We published 97 new on-demand videos to our YouTube account and facilitated 38 virtual programs through Facebook Live. The library's top programming priorities over the summer included social connectivity, job health, and youth learning. Our summer learning update. Through our local partnership, the library has been able to serve 3,617 summer meals during the months of June and July, based on our neighborhood demand and the capacity of our partner who delivers the meals. This is a federally funded program at no cost to the library. In August, we are distributing free take and make kits for youth of all ages, which they can take home and help build skills in the STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Kids can visit any branch to enter into a drawing to win a prize for their summer learning efforts. And we have some upcoming programs. During the Teachers Week, which happens to be this week, teachers may participate in virtual sessions or sign up for an appointment in the makerspace so they can learn about the library services and make materials for their classroom. Back to school in unusual times, there will be a week of virtual programs for parents and CARES to equip them with tools to help them face the uncertainty of the school year. The topics covered will include a common and core crash course, teaching resiliency to the kids, library resources for at-home learning. And the library will also have a program called Free Tools with Tool Bank. This is how to create a successful community improvement project, and that will be on August 18th at 6:30 p.m. So ends my report. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Betsy. Greg,
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
What is the Free Tools with Tool Bank? Elaborate on that.
Sure, Mr. Hendon. This is Beth Yoke from the Strategy Division. So the Tool Bank is a local organization that provides tools to primarily nonprofit groups. So we're partnering with them to host a program to raise awareness about the opportunities that they offer with borrowing the tools and using the tools and the kind of the supports they provide around them for community members who are interested in and in learning more and just using the resources that the tool bank has available to them.
Where is that going to be conducted?
I'm pretty sure we're still doing virtual for that.
Okay,
Yeah, I can follow up for sure and let you know.
thank you.
Hmm.
That's been a pet project for Bob, recommending a few years ago to have a tool library.
We still have it on
You've got a
the,
good memory,
the
Betsy.
schedule for Walnut Hills, Mr. Hendon. Don't worry. Our plans still include that opportunity to consider it. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you, everyone. All right. For the Technology Committee, Greg, if you would take that report today, that would be great.
Sure. So from the Technology Committee, the report is distribution center update. The pandemic has had an impact in a variety of ways on the operations of the distribution center, from substantial temporary decrease in the demand for physical items and the quarantining of returned items, to the need of virus mitigation protocols on the processing line, the delay in publishing many new book releases, and the skipping of movie theater releases in favor of streaming. As the library opens to more in-person service, including browsing, and publishers are ramping up their operations, we are increasing our ordering of books, DVDs, and other physical materials in anticipation of higher demand by customers. The Windows 10 rollout. The library uses Microsoft Windows as its operating system on all computers and staff, for the staff and for the public. Because Microsoft ended its support for Windows 7, the library had to upgrade to Windows 10 to protect from security risks and others issues facing Windows 7. In Info Technology Computer Services, staff visited all 42 locations to work on nearly 2,000 staff and public computers, including replacing nearly 500 machines that could not be upgraded. The pandemic hit during the last few weeks of deployment, which pushed completion of the Windows 10 rollout to May of 2020. System Center Configuration Manager rollout. Client management is the name used for the ability to control the large number of computers in the library's network. In order to more effectively control those computers centrally and remotely, Technology has recently completed a 6-month migration of Microsoft's Client Manager, System Center Configuration Manager, acronym is SCCM. We'll use that now. SCCM features remote control, patch management, operating system deployment, network protection, antivirus, and other services. The project will help the library save $125,000 over the next 6 years. Library cards. In 2019, the staff library card experience team met and worked on recommendations for making it easier to apply for a library card. This team's recommendations included reducing the number of card types, as several card types perform similar functions, and choosing which card type to use was confusing for both the users and the staff. The reduction in card types also provides an opportunity to tighten up associated loan rules, such as how long an item can be checked out and how many renewals are available for a particular type of item, which should lead to an overall better experience for our customers. And then finally, courtesy extensions of loan material. During the spring, the library was not taking returns, and so we extended the due date of loaned items. Now that the book drops are open, we are bringing back familiar due dates with an improvement that will make the process clearer for customers and staff. The library will now grant the courtesy due date extensions at the time of checkout instead of toward the end of the first loan period, making the actual due date clear immediately. Materials will check out for 8 days, new feature DVDs, 14 days, older DVDs, or 42 days, all other items. Materials loaned by the library will then be eligible for 8 automatic renewals of 4 days, 7, 21, as long as there are no holds on the item and the customer's account is not blocked. We hope that this new process will give customers a clear understanding of when their items are due. And that's the end of my report.
Okay, this is Betsy. I have a question with respect to the library cards. You said in an earlier report, we got 8,000 new library card holders. What was the reason for such a large number during this pandemic era?
I believe it's because we changed our process to being very simple so that people could go right on our webpage and get a downloadable card that could be activated fairly quickly and was good for a longer amount of time. And since we know during the pandemic, so many people were at home, we weren't loaning material and they wanted material. They were using their e-readers and other electronic ways to suddenly check out a lot of our material. And many of those people didn't perhaps have an active card or had never had a library card. So we made it as easy as we could for them to do that during the pandemic when we couldn't see them in person.
Okay, before you could not get a card online, you had to go into the library?
You could, but it had different limitations and it was very short term. So you had to make it into a real card pretty quickly. But during the pandemic, we loosened those restrictions a bit with still an emphasis on keeping residency and only giving them to cards for people who were eligible for our cards. But it was a little bit easier. And again, to the point of some of the material that Greg just read, our online process was somewhat confusing about how exactly you got a card or what kind of card you were getting. So during the pandemic, Beth and her strategy team and Holbrook and his technology team, they made some alterations so that it was very clear. Come to the webpage, get a library card like this. Now your library card works.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. And it was easy because it didn't involve any physical material at that point. So
okay, great.
Thank you, Paula. All right, Development Committee report. Betsy, will you present that, please?
Okay, the library has been a recipient of several gifts since May, one from the Martin Luther King Coalition and also the Lamacchia Family Foundation. They've also received in-kind support for Discover Summer participants to be used as prizes from Frisch's and United Dairy Farmers. The Library Foundation's fiscal year ended on June 30th. The unaudited results for the year show a 4% growth in the endowment. Overall contributions were down by 25%. However, there was a 28% in the total number of gifts received for the year. So we got more gifts, but less money. The following donors, Maxwell Weaver Foundation and FC Cincinnati Foundation, made significant contributions or pledges to support the library since May. And additional grant funding requests are under review. Since the closing to the public in mid-March, the Friends Warehouse is reopened for limited in-person and curbside service for the customers. This has been dubbed the Garage, and it's been very popular since opening.
Yes.
It was profiled in the Cincinnati Parent magazine, and this innovative and novel concept represents a pivot to resume service. This is especially since we didn't have that big June sale in the library.
Right.
The Friends are also hosting several donate days in the library's distribution center parking lot from 9 to 1 on August 15th, August 22nd, and September 12th. This is designed to help the donated books and other materials from the community members and alleviate the need for the donations at the branches. Last Saturday, the Anderson Township Library Association hosted their 40th anniversary sale at the Burger Farm and Garden Center in Newtown. And Paula went there, I understand. So that's my report, and you can tell them about the sale.
Sure, and Mr. Hendon was there, Stacy was there, as well as Molly. It was fantastic. They haven't finalized the results, but they are really pleased with how they did. And I don't want to speak for anyone else who wants to chime in, but I found it to be a really cool venue and everyone seemed to be having a great time.
Good. Okay, that's ended my report. Thank you.
Great.
Monica, we have just one final thing. I know it's been a long meeting, but we did invite Chris Rice to come and do a quick webpage preview since that launches on the 17th. And it's in the agenda, but I'm not sure I was clear about what that was. And Chris has done this a couple times. He can do it pretty quickly. So if you will indulge us in that, we would like to do that before moving forward with the rest of the consent agenda items.
Of course. Chris, go ahead.
please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Rice. I'm the marketing manager here. My team and a lot of the other staff here at the library have been hard at work over the last couple of months, getting our new website ready to go, tying that together with the brand launch. I'll just give you a quick kind of rundown of how everything works. Let me see if I can get my.
Do you want me to stop sharing, Chris, and you can take over? Okay.
That would, I think, work better. Everybody see that?
That's not your picture.
It is not my picture. So this is what will be our new homepage. We'll put the new logo up in the corner here once we unveil that come Monday. We have implemented a lot of the new branding throughout the site, so everything's starting to look really good. My team spent a lot of time making sure all of the new branding elements fit and everything kind of looks really good. Based on one of those public comments, I'm going to scroll down a little bit to just talk a little bit about how some of this works. So what we can do now with this site is update things quickly. So we could change this entire homepage in probably 10 minutes if we needed to. And they work on these things that are called cards that allow us to kind of modularly move bits and pieces throughout the rest of the website. That'll be important here in just a moment. So I'm gonna cough. I gotta mute real quick. Sorry. So what we can also do now too is put up these kind of notices up here and do that very quickly. Like the old site, I think the last time it was redone was 2013, maybe 2012. It was before I was here, so it's old and it's built on a lot of old technology. So just to show an interior page real quick, with the public comment, the last gentleman mentioned it'd be nice if we could figure out ways to highlight our digital library a little better. And building those cards that I just mentioned will help us do that. And we can take here in our special collections page that we put together, we can take these bits that are in that. The digital library is actually a whole other technology system that houses all of these images, but we can take those bits and now build them much more clearly into the way the public site works, and then be able to promote those easier on social media and get people to them. So people will start seeing things that they didn't know we had just because we didn't have a good way to get it in front of them. The other really cool pieces with moving to BiblioCommons involve how to work the catalog. So I'll do a search here. We'll do new kids DVDs. So what it'll do is show new kids DVDs, exactly what I just searched for. If I go over to our current site, did that tab change? Okay. And I'll do the same thing, new kids DVDs. There's random. It doesn't pick up on the exact thing. So it uses natural search now, much like Google or Amazon or most of the other search engines work. The other piece that is really helpful, I'm just going to type in a random author's name to get a book to show up, is when you do search for a title, you see all of the available formats right there in one spot. So in our current catalog, you might find the large print book on the second page of the search results. In this instance, everything, if it's got audio, an ebook, large print, a CD audiobook, or a playway, they all show up with that title. That's a 5-minute rundown of a really complicated website. So I don't know if anyone has any questions I can try to answer, or thanks for having me.
All right, this is Betsy. I have a question. Is this going to alter the way we check in with our name and password for board documents and stuff?
No.
This is an external facing site exclusively, so those internal softwares would remain the same. This is just, but when you use the library, this will change the way that works. But for your internal board stuff, that is separate from this.
Okay, so that when we hit on your link on your email, it's going to come up the same as it always is.
That's right. Yeah, this is exclusively external and that is exclusively internal. But don't worry, Betsy, we'll change that too someday, but not right now.
Okay, I just don't want to get all mixed up with everything.
You bring up a great point, and this is one thing that Chris has talked about a lot and his team. This is a great new website, and you can see that it is much easier to use, but it will be a transition. And we had planned, if you remember, to launch this in the spring, and we had delayed in the hopes that we could prepare our community. I think it's going to be a great way for them to interact in a more virtual environment, but it is a change. So we will spend a lot of time trying to communicate, because the first time that they come, they will have a different experience. And we know even though it will be better, it will be different.
In the last 2 weeks, we randomly sent out the link to this new site to a bunch of our customers and invited them to start giving us feedback. So we've been getting feedback and making adjustments based on their questions for the last 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. All right, we are going to move on to the consent agenda items. And
Move to accept the consent items.
thank you,
This is
Betsy.
Betsy.
Diane, second.
And
All in favor?
Aye. Yes.
Yes, I.
Thank you.
well,
Aye.
really appreciate everybody's time today. And we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved, Betsy.
Thank you, Betsy. And the second,
Second, Bob.
thank you, Bob. All right, so the meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting will be held on October 6th at 4:30 and likely virtual again. So stay tuned for that information. But thank you, everyone.